Hi guys, I would like to talk about how I figured out that our mind and body are connected. When I was young, I think I was about 9, I went to a homeopathic doctor. I had like an onslaught of stomach issues. As a child, I was a fairly sickly child. In retrospect now, I can tell you it's because I'm an empath and I pick up the world through my physical body, and I'm influenced and affected by my world. But when I was young, we took me to the doctor, and apparently I had an ulcer. And generally, ulcers come from the H. pylori bacteria, and I didn't have that. My homeopathic doctor had shared it with us that I was worrying or stressing out too much, and that was causing high levels of acid in my belly, which were then creating these ulcers. And I think learning that at a young age, and learning that it's, you know, having someone tell me that at a young age made me realize, like, okay, well, you have to be careful about what your mind does, because it can show up somewhere in your body. In my life, my mother was very health conscious. We worked in a health food store. She managed a health food store. I kind of went through some of my young teen years spending a lot of time in the health food store, watching my mother take people off of hormone replacement therapy and put them on hormone creams, natural hormone replacement. We would help people who were highly addicted to like ephedrine products and things like that, work into more natural areas. We had this like alternative herb book that we would just like look up. It would be like our doctor essentially when someone was going through something, and you know, offer them these other alternative supplements or vitamin replacements or things like that they might be lacking because of you know, because of whatever environmental issues or their chemistry or whatever. But either way, would help them gain that kind of health back in those areas. And I think growing up in that, I always had that in my mind. I always was exposed to that, and I left that a little bit. I ran away from my house when I was 15. I moved in with a great friend of mine. And I just kind of got into just being with my friends and eating junk food and going to Sonic late at night. And eventually I moved into my own place when I was like 16, 17. And of course, you know, we didn't go to healthy grocery stores or anything like that. So I left that quite a bit. So I had maybe my sickly childhood. I had kind of that reform that my mother exposed me to, where I started to learn how to be better. And then I had this kind of break where I just was being my own person and kind of following around what was general knowledge and eating however I wanted to. And it wasn't until much later, probably in my 20s, a little bit past the military, my first deployment to Iraq, that I really got into health on my own. And because I had that foundation from when I was young, because I already was exposed to ideas that my mind can affect my body, it was a really easy transition for me. Plus, I went to the yoga training in 2011. That was just another sort of level up in understanding how body and mind are connected, and how intrinsic, you know, our health, our healthy daily practices are. Overeating, not eating the right nutrients, not taking care of ourselves mentally and physically, and how it shows up in different parts of our body. So I think it's important to have those discoveries, to ask ourselves, where in our lives do we see those connections? Where have we seen other people make themselves sick or get illnesses that are kind of like odd, you know? They go along with heavy stress times in their life. And we can kind of start to notice that connection on a different level. And I think that's super important for the journey. It's super important to my empaths out there who are being diagnosed with an onslaught of mental disorders and health disorders, because a lot of it is environmental. A lot of it is how we manage our stress. And that's what I have for you today.